teachers and faculty members, thank you so much. You've been so patient with us in waiting for the meeting to start. We will start exactly in 2 or 3 minutes. Please do hold on. And as I speak, I see the number of the number of participants going high. We're really happy to see you all on this webinar. So just give us 2-3 minutes. We'll start exactly in that time. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patience, teachers, educationalists, and academics. It gives me great privilege uh, to start the session for the day. And this is the fourth part of the series of webinars that we're conducting, dealing with the global experiment. We're breaking the topic into many segments, and this is the fourth session. I extremely am happy to be a part of this webinar and to meet you all teachers and educationalists from different places across. So we'll just start the day's program with a general instruction. So as you all know, many of you are not new to us, but there are teachers who are new for this webinar. This is your first webinar. There are few. So we will have a poll about that later. So just to give you a general instruction, kindly stay muted throughout the session. And if you experience any technical difficulties, like if you can't hear, if the audio is not clear, or if you get disconnected and you're not able to get back into the session, you can kindly make a note of the number. There are two numbers to be exact on your screen. You can make a note of this number and you can contact our technical people, Mr. Samuel Martin, for your doubts regarding the case session. If there are any technical queries, you can get connected with them. And these two numbers, you can save these numbers in your phone so that if for the future seminars, if you send any link, only when these numbers are saved, the link will be enabled. Else, it would just be a text. It will just be in a text format. So for future seminars or webinars, you can save these two numbers so that the link is enabled. Yes. Okay, important part. The question answer session. Once a ma'am finishes our talk, we have allocated like 5 or 7 minutes for a question answer session. So if you have any doubts, okay, we can increase that number by 10 also. So if you have any doubts, you can post your questions in the chat box. So you would have either joined with us in Zoom or through um, live YouTube streaming. So if you have joined with us in Zoom app, you can post your questions in the chat box addressing to the host. There are a few hosts and co-hosts. You can post your queries only to the host and co-host. Okay? So if at all you have joined with us using WhatsApp, I'm sorry, YouTube, you can post your queries in the comment section addressing at the rate host in the comment section. So it will be easy for our host or the co-host to figure out to filter your questions and forward to our map speaker. All right. And yeah, the registration for next session, as I told you, uh, you can be a part of the series of webinars that you're conducting. So if you're willing to register for the next session, at the end of today's session, we'll be sending you a link. You can register. Else, no need to panic. We'll be sending you links to your school so that you can also register in that fashion. Okay. Our YouTube channel. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to get further notifications of seminars and webinars. Feedback session. So this we'll have this feedback session at the end of the talk. So upon filling the feedback form, only upon filling the feedback form, you will be receiving the participation certificate. We are actually in the process of sending the feedback form for the previous webinars that we conducted. The one on 3rd, 27th, and 3rd of December. Yeah, 23rd, 27th, and 3rd of December. We're in the process of sending. So for those who have not yet received your certificates for the previous seminar, we are extremely sorry. We are in the process, and I believe almost all of you would have received the certificates, but for the left outs, one or two certificates might have been left out. So if that is the case, we apologize and we will send it in due time. So for today's session, only upon filling the feedback form, you will be receiving the certificate. And kind reminder, the YouTube channel, kindly subscribe the channel for further notification. All right. And stay muted throughout the session so that we can have a peaceful session. About TechnoSchool. Um, there are a lot of you who are new to TechnoSchool, or this is your first webinar with us. And for many of you, we are not new, I believe. So it is duty for me to introduce TechnoSchool to you. So we started TechnoSchool in the year 2005. We are in business for 15 years successfully, I should say. So our presence is felt in India, across the Indian subcontinent, as well as in UAE. So to all the teachers who have joined with us from the southern part of India and also from the north, I believe, and teachers from UAE, I welcome you all one more time, and I thank you for taking your time to be a part of this webinar. Right? So we started in 2005. So we basically provide ICT education, like computer curriculums for schools, and we try to bridge this gap. So this ever-growing technology does not reach the sector, the IT sector, which is the ever-growing sector, does not, if it does not reach the schools, or uh, it is not given to the level of, it is not translated to a child's level, we do that. We try to bridge that gap. So that is what we have been doing. So apart from this ICT curriculum that we provide to schools, we also do some value-added services for the schools, for our customer schools. So for the teachers, we provide technical training and orientations, and also life skill classes. And for students, we provide career-oriented coaching upon request from the schools. And we also give them motivational talks that do upon request. All right. So as I told you, we're in business for more than 15 years, and our presence is felt in 15 different locations, and we have around 850 plus schools. Okay, Techno Talent Fest is one of the value-added services that we give to the schools, and through that the students are benefited. Um, it's a nationwide competition in India, and in UAE it runs separately. It's a different format, it's totally different format in UAE and in India. So what we do is we declare this competition at some time around the month of August, so that the schools select their tech geniuses, and they will be doing their projects and sending back to us. We will evaluate them, and we honor them with mementos. So these are few images of Techno Talent Fest that happened in UAE. Okay, so you can keep in touch with us with our social media handles. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also YouTube. So as I told you, if you all subscribe the YouTube channel, you'll be getting constant notification. Yeah. All right. Before I get into the important part of the day, uh, the session which you all are eagerly waiting for, we have a poll. Okay. So as we speak, there is a poll, and you will be able to see the question on your screen. You can either click yes or no, and upon submitting, we'll have the result, and we will take forward from there on. Do you all see the question on your screen? Is the question on your screen visible? So the question will actually read, is this your first time, or have you attended previous seminar with us or previous webinar with us? So if you click yes, it will be on a different track, and if you click no. Okay, so if you don't see the poll, it's okay, no need to panic. I think that is a technical glitch. Probably we'll have it further in the session. So let's start with the day's session, and it gives me immense pleasure and happiness to introduce the speaker of the day, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Uh, that is the Senior Vice Principal of Mount Carmel, Dwaraka from Delhi, all the way from Delhi. Ma'am has joined, and she has been so gracious in accepting our invitation. Though it was a very short time that we gave her, she accepted it with grace, and we are extremely thankful, ma'am.
My
I
pleasure. My pleasure.
So, ma'am has been in the field of education for quite a long time, and she has been the principal, and now she currently is the vice principal of Mount Carmel School, Dwarka, as a senior vice principal of Mount Carmel School, Dwarka. And ma'am has done an inclusive education uh, from a London-based institution, and she is a life skill trainer as well, apart from being a teacher, and uh, she's also a life skill trainer. And we are extremely glad that we have a speaker such as yourself who is multidimensional, like who can
Humbled and honored.
thank
Humbled
you,
and
ma'am.
honored.
So I hand over the session to ma'am Tilaka Benjamin, ma'am, to take over.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, participants. Uh, can you all hear me? I truly believe you can all hear me.
Yes, ma'am, I clearly.
Yeah, thank you. So I'd like to um, I'd like to share screen, and so this is where we go. Yeah. So, uh, can you all see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah, everybody can. Good. So this is how it is. The school in my room. Uh, could we this enable waiting room? Maybe we could let them just enter because it's sort of hiding the screen for me
yes,
at least.
yes,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. The school in my room sounds very vague and familiar both ways because even during offline classes, children did come home with a part of their school in the to their homes because they would bring their assignments, homework, and so on and so forth for them to continue. So schooling has always been a part of a household. It's a two-way thing generally. But now the school has actually entered the room in the drawing room of a family. So now that's where it goes because our school as such, you would see like this as empty classrooms. The school has to go somewhere, and there it has landed right into our drawing rooms because we are not only teachers, we are also parents and family members. So you would understand when I say the school has left and has left the premises and is now plopped itself in our drawing rooms and our bedrooms too. As you would understand, some children leaning on the beds and, not even, just a little lazy, laid back attitude when they attend their classes. So now I am going to start off with the onus of us teachers. The onus lie on us teachers to create happy classrooms. We as teachers have the responsibility and the duty to create happy classrooms, irrespective of the fact that the classroom is offline or online. Now, what you see here is a virtual classroom. It is a very the picture is really not very clear, but I just wanted to give you all a gist of what I'm trying to say. So this classroom shows the teacher waving out her hands just right here. And she's finding children in every position possible, but everybody trying with a smile on their face. And this is what is written, always together, even from afar. That's wonderful. You know, so we are having we are having classrooms online, but it's our duty to create happy classrooms, to get that smile out of a child, of every child whom we teach. And it is up to us to create engaging sessions with the children, promoting interactive sessions, engaging sessions, keep them involved in the teaching learning process. We all have done a B.Ed. We know what the teaching learning process is. It's just not teaching, it's just not learning. It is the transfer of knowledge from the teacher to the taught. So in the all encompassing teacher learning process, all you find here is that we are in one place, the children are everywhere else, but nevertheless, lessons go on, the teaching learning process goes on. Nothing has come to a stop, nothing. It's only the platform. The teaching learning process platform has changed from an offline confined classroom setting to an online setting where we are all over the place. So that is it. And it is up to us to create and to promote an experiential learning. Now, if some of you, I mean, I'm sure all of us have had a glimpse into what the national education policy recommendations are, especially from classes 1 to 8. 1 to 5, it is purely activity based, and they're interactive learning based on language learning and of course learning numeracy. Everything is activity based and interaction based. Classes 6 to 8, which is called as the upper primary, they are calling it as experiential learning. So whether it's activity or experience based, we have to sort of push their creative thinking skills. We have to push their creative thinking skills beyond the present limit. They must be taught to ask. When you're teaching, it is so much easier. I agree, I'm also teaching. It's so much easier to mute everybody, to teach what we want to, and then, give the class assignment, put it in Google Classroom. That's efficient. But are we jogging their brains? We have to make them ask questions. We must allow them to imagine and express their imagination. Yes, in an online class, this imagination part, it runs riot, no doubt about it. Naturally, sometimes they even switch off their videos. So after that, imagination is the only possibility. But do we allow the children do we guide their imagination? Their imagination to be expressed in art form, in question form, in DIY form, in every possible form. You can even ask the children to plan out their lesson. They can tell, ma'am, poem. We are doing a poem on rain. Ma'am, this is how we would like you to teach us poem. Maybe enact the poem. Children reading lines one after the other. There are so many ways we can. They can represent rain through sound. When you keep tapping your finger like this, I'm not able to show myself. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
When you keep, ask them different ways how to produce the sound of rain. That's a creativity. Ask them to bring photographs of or pictures of rain. Ask them to talk about rain. What would they like to read? Even if it is just a cup of tea and pakoda they are imagining in a rainy season, that's fine. So do we ask them, allow them to ask questions? Guide their imagination. Let their imagination turn into expression. Give them an opportunity to plan their lessons. I know sometimes classes exceed 60, 50. I do understand. Believe me, I'm a teacher. I'm going through it. But then, do we deprive our children? Our question is, where is the balance? Do we deprive our children? Now, creating. Allow them to create their own questions. We ask them to create. We give the questions and we ask them to create the answers. But I'm sure all of us know the word called annotating the text. Annotation. Annotation means reading the text and writing out the answer, creating questions. Annotating the text means reading the text and forming questions based on it. That is annotation. You could give a reverse, give them a passage and ask them to create questions. Give them Google Forms test. I'm sure we are all doing that. Subjective and objective tests. And your objective type. Nowadays, CBSE has made it mandatory. 20% is going to be application based. We are also having a lot of MCQs and objective types, OTQs, objective type questions. So we have to sort of literally help children extend, stretch themselves. And this is the time we can do. So this is what, and once they have done it, they can share it in class. When they share whatever they are doing, the DIY, they can share in class. It makes them proud. It makes them feel honored. They are able to educate their peer. And peer learning is one of the best ways of learning. So the next is, I'd like to give a few tips on engaging children in online classroom settings. So you need to have very specific learning goals. Very specific, student specific, because online platform is not a teacher like the way I am talking to people whom I'm not able to see. I'm not comfortable, actually. I can understand what it is because I am so used to a very interactive class. I teach economics. So you can imagine. So this is how it is. We have to develop student-specific learning plans. Your lesson plans, I know in South lesson plans are very, very particular, but we have to convert it to student-centric lesson plans. Focus on the practical application. Again, I have told you the National Education Policy, as you would all be knowing, it talks about experiential learning, interactive method of learning, activity-oriented. So practical application. There should be something where they can extend the knowledge they have assimilated from a lesson and use it or modify it. Not only use it, modify it also. Now set learning goals and stick to them. Yes. Don't have, a list of goals. Ye bhi karna, wo bhi karna, wo. I mean, no, it is not like that. This should be done, that to be done. No. Set specific goals. What is expected of children at the end of a lesson? And ensure they are done or got through those learning goals. Now, encourage them to stay interactive. That is up to us, I've told you. We have to engage and involve them, especially when it is a faceless class. You have to break the monotony, include fun activities, ask them to ask questions, ask them to plan the lesson, get them to draw, get them to express their feelings, and use of technology for advantage. Give them resources, have a flipped classroom, ask them to go through the lesson at home. When they come to school the next day, you should engage in discussion of what they have gone through. So that is known as the flipped classroom. We all know about it. I'm sure all of us know what the flipped classroom is all about. So we can use it. We can ask children to present what they have understood of a lesson. So a short study curriculum. Your curriculum should be engaging, involved. It shouldn't stretch and divert it to too many points which will not be able to be fulfilled. And very important as teachers to keep face-to-face virtual interaction, especially with senior children. They tend to switch off and just, switch off in every, physically, virtually, every way. So it's all the more reason why face-to-face virtual interaction is important in the classroom. And attendance. I always keep the list of students with me, and I keep ticking. Like if I've asked the first 10 children today, asking them questions, then I ensure the next 10 is involved in my next class. I try not to leave anybody out. Okay, children can do virtual collaboration. They can get together, they can form PPTs, they can make movies, they can present it any way they want. So, and one thing we must understand is, but all the above 10 things, 9 things, which we have, sort of gone through, planning is very important. Unless there is planning, it will not be possible to put any of the objectives or the tips for online classroom settings. We will not be able to follow through because we need to plan thoroughly, especially in an online setting, because everything is different here. But the ultimate goal is the learning process needs to be completed. So now I'm going to talk about some health issues of children, because we are looking at children, what they are. We are seeing them on the virtual classroom, but we should also, as teachers, we also should know what they are going through, being in the lockdown, not being allowed to go out, threatened by a very dangerous virus. That's what they are being told. It's a very dangerous virus, and that's true. The numbers are rising. So what are they going through? How much of class will they attend? How much homework will they do? So the first thing is the obesity, sitting all the time, whether it's for class or for watching TV. Obviously, they cannot go out and play, so TV time increases. So obesity is one thing that they are all facing. Okay, I mean, I don't know about how many of you will agree with me, but I have, with my own children, my own students, I've seen some of them are like, there is a difference in their physique because of lack of physical exercises. Even going to school, chatting with friends, everything is a stress buster. Not having school, not having so much to do is also causing anxiety because it is a change in the pattern. Parents question me, what are they doing? Anyway, now studies are relaxed, not much homework, not much schooling. And what are they stressed about? That's exactly what they're stressed about, because they are used to a particular pattern. And any pattern change affects the behavior and attitude of children, just like the adults. We think it is, they are taking it lightly, they should take it lightly, they're supposed to be. No. Any behavior, any change in the environment, whether it's school or at home, definitely affects children. And we need to be empathetic with them. And now we see that too much of screen time, whether it is they are doing their homework or their project or their class, or watching TV because they don't have nothing much to do, or playing video games, Whatever it is all screen time related. So, very severe eyesight problems are arising, but as teachers, I'm sure you all must already be knowing this. And mood swings and anxiety attacks. This is what we really don't know about. Because in the class, naturally, we are the teacher, we are 40, 50, 60, maybe, I don't know. And then, we know that they are all listening. Though, they've been told that you have to be respectful to your teacher. But then they are going through mood swings and anxiety attacks. They don't know what this corona is about. They're being locked up, they're locked in, they're locked down. And look at, their mood swings, they cannot express. Little children, we think, oh, they could, see how much this child is talking. Oh my gosh, she's such a sharp tongue, this child. But the child is that is a protective layer. That's not what she is all about. Her fear, her anxiety, everything is inside. The screaming, the throwing of tantrums. In our age, at least, 2 tight slaps from our parent or our teacher and 1 cane whack would settle everything. We never had mood swings after that for the rest of our life, I think so. But that's not the way it is. And anyway, nobody gave any attention to us. So many children, joint families, everybody was hustling and bustling around us. So even our temper tantrums, nobody took it. They say, yeah, the child is crying. Okay, fine. Huh? What happened? Why are you crying? Oh, okay, fine. Okay. And everybody is going about their work. But here the child, the entire concentration is upon the child, which we think is total love and affection from the parents. Well, I don't think so. Give the child a breather. They need some breather, please. This is something as teachers we should understand, where, in the home front, it is not much understood. It is, I think, the onus lies on us for us to communicate to the parents as well as the students. And and sometimes it's okay to have mood swings, because it is a way to let out steam. The child needs to express, doesn't know how to express, and lo and behold, mood swings and anxiety attacks. So we have this psychosocial support for children during COVID, where parents monitor, they are given conscious playtime. They are given conscious reading time. They are given conscious work time. Engage them in household work. Engage them in keeping themselves clean. Children forget hygiene. They forget about helping. Engage them in productive work. Engage them in games. Engage them in reading. Which means that will take their mind off that extra screen time. But these are things we need to communicate with parents. We need to communicate with children. And believe, I'm sure all of you will agree, they listen to us more than they listen to parents. So it is for, we could easily sort of encourage and motivate children. And that would be our achievement in this time of pandemic. So there's another set of tips, guidance that can be related to psychosocial support for children, because they are going through a tough time. We may agree, we may not agree. We may accept, we may not accept. But yes, they do. The degrees vary, the direction varies, no doubt, but then it is there. So, they may express it in different way: anxiety, anger, sadness. Suddenly they go into a shell, they are not talking. They behave differently in different situations. So it is not only parents who are caregivers, we are also caregivers. And I feel that as teachers teaching online and doing so much of work, we are like frontline caregivers. So our patience and our understanding of emotions is so much important. And we cannot take it lightly, because every emotion of every person, be it a child or a parent or a teacher or anybody, is valid. It is a valid emotion. Anger, uncontrollable anger, is also a valid emotion. And as caregivers, as teachers, we need to understand them with empathy. Just not sympathy, oh, that poor child. No. Let us empathy, meaning of empathy, right? We put ourselves in their shoes and understand what they are going through and reach out to them the way we would reach out to ourselves instead of being hard on them. Just feeling sorry will not help in this situation. So it's important when you feel the class is drifting from what you're teaching. I always tell my teachers, when you feel that the class is drifting, they are not there, the concentration level is diluted after some time, I said, stop it, do a fun activity. You can even have all the videos on and do some stretching exercise. You can do stretching exercise, you can do some laughing exercise. Just the stand, sit, or Simon says, we can do this because that breaks the monotony. Okay, I've taught enough today. Now take out your pencils, and if you have color pencils, go fetch them quickly. Now, express yourself. So what happened yesterday evening? What happened? Why is there a disturbed feeling? You all are not in a mood to listen today. So let's stop that. Let's draw. Let's have fun activity. Stop it. This is how you can sort of change the mood of the class. That is in your hands. And I would like to remind you, dear teachers, you are sovereign in your class. You are the master, you're sovereign. So you can mold your class, especially primary and upper primary. When I go for routine classes for observation, they are so observant. The teacher may not see me being in the class, but the little ones they're all always saying, ma'am, Tilaka ma'am is in class, Tilaka ma'am is in class. And then they're so smart. Immediately their behavior changes. They behave as if, they are the best thing next to baked bread. Absolute angels. And 5 minutes back, the teacher would have had an entire virtual class, giving her a roller coaster ride. Out of enthusiasm, ma'am, I, these things happen. But then, we need to keep things floating. We can't allow that, allow feelings to, any kind of emotion to cave us in. And as teachers, being creative, giving interactive activities, giving them experiential learning experiences, all this will help them develop even now in this COVID situation. It will be a positive added value. And encourage parents to follow regular routines and schedules. This is for parents, but we need to communicate with them. And if children are witnessing violence at home, in school, we are able to find that out better because of their moodiness and so on. In virtual classroom, it's not so easy. It's not so easy to gauge the behavior of children. But then if we are keenly interested, we will be able to find that there is a difference in the child's attitude in the class from the past to the present. And reaching out to the children would be imperative at that time. Now, honestly, this is something I would like to tell everybody. Yes, there's so much going on about COVID and COVID and COVID. They're watching COVID, reading COVID, listening to COVID, discussing so much. It's everything COVID related. We need to persuade children to divert their attention. In your classrooms, divert their attention to something hopeful, something brighter, something different. something beautiful, divert their attention through technology, through reading, through actions, through drawing, performing and virtual art. Art integration and art integrated learning is now the bylaw of CBSE in every subject. And when I'm talking about art, it is not just drawing and coloring, it is performing arts, music, photography, everything, just about everything. So I would like us all to understand there is so much going about COVID. It's a sad situation, no doubt. It's a real situation. And no one knows when this will end. But children, let's expose them to something in our classes where we are in control. Let us expose them to something really, really beautiful, hopeful, bright. And let us get them moving to a higher, stronger, and brighter version of themselves. You need to excuse me for the doorbell ringing. I'm taking it from my residence. I do apologize. Okay, now we are talking about cyber safety. Cyber safety. When we are talking about cyber safety, children are exposed to the internet, the social media, more so during the COVID-19. Parents are working, parents are busy, don't know who's keeping a tab on them. And then children are exposed to all sort of crimes, internet and social media crimes. They are not safe there. So I would like to give a few tips which you can advise the children on a regular basis, and do pass on the information to parents so that our children will be kept very safe during this COVID time. So information that parents, it's not that parents do not know. It's not that we teachers do not know. I think all of us are on the same page regarding this. Sometimes we just miss it. We just miss it sometimes because we think we know, we think we have discussed, we think we are reminded. But these set of rules, guidelines, need to be repetitively reminded. So the first thing is ground rules for screen time, which includes online classes. In Delhi, from classes 1 to 8, your teaching minutes are restricted to 90 minutes per day. So you can have 3 classes of 30 minutes each, or 2 classes of 45 minutes each. Plus, you can have one activity period. I do include a music class one day, a dance class another day, and a games class on the third day, then value education class on the fourth day, and one day I just let them have the 3 classes, and one day they are off. So, of 5 days, we just have one extra activity class. This is how we do it. So, their screen time must be regulated. Regulated screen time is very important, not only for classes, but otherwise also. And internet access must be restricted. That only parents can do at home, but then parents need to be told in class groups. If you have WhatsApp class groups, a gentle reminder, dear parents, to ensure that internet access for your child is restricted, and also the monitoring of online activities are regularly followed. Just a short message from the class teacher, it will make a world of difference to the parents. The parents would understand, yes, we, the teaching community, does, the class teacher cares for the children. Students must be reminded never to disclose personal information. They are innocent. And sometimes they like to show off, they like to boast. They don't know what they are getting into. So it is the teachers and the parents who have to continuously keep telling you, remember how we make our little children remember the mother and father's mobile numbers? Especially working parents in the same way. These things should be repeated to children. Name, age, address, passwords, location, nothing should be disclosed. Tell them there are nice videos for cyber safety. Do show it. A day when your class is over, Show them on gender equality, how to be gender sensitive, how not to be racially discriminating, how to be cyber safe. All these things we can do when our class, when our, let's say a topic is over, you've taken the test, and you feel you do have time before you move on to the next lesson. These are really good value lessons and life skills that we can teach our children. Short videos are available. And then ask them, what did you think about this? Why do you think we shouldn't do this? We must always go from a what to a why level, because they need to think. It's not that I tell you have to be gender sensitive, that the child has to be. No, the child has to understand, express himself or herself as to why she or he needs to be gender sensitive. Maybe gender sensitivity at that age is not so big for them, but they need to know it. Racial discrimination that's happening. A short video on that. Maybe a collage work, a poster making. Say no to crackers. I'm sure all of us are doing that. Believe me, I'm honored and humbled to be even talking to you all about this. So students must be instructed to avoid online interaction with strangers. Yes, this is a strict no. That's why I've used the word instructed. This is an instruction, and they jolly well follow it. And it has to come as an instruction only. Let it come across as an instruction, something that they should follow, both from you as well as the parents. They must be taught to be mindful of the comments and pictures they post online. We are on social media, Facebook, um, all kinds of Instagram, Twitter, whatnot. And we all know the perils. We all know the perils of what goes out. It's better to be silent than to be sorry. So pause before the click. They must be taught. And also, they must not be allowed to become, victims of cyberbullying. The moment they they receive any hurtful and offensive online comments which is aimed at them, they must report to the teacher, to the parents. So that fear must go out of their minds. The fear, they must go out either to the fear of the teacher, fear of the parents. That is where children get trapped in an emotional stress bubble, because they feel they do not have anybody to go to. So that fear, first of all, must be removed. Make yourselves, I would say, dear teachers, make yourselves available to children, especially in this time of pandemic, when we are so far apart from our students, far apart from one another. So thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Within the short time that you had to prepare, you you definitely gave us a lot of input and insights, and what are all the changes the child undergoes during the lockdown, and how as a teacher we can handle such students, and also give them a proper like handle them better. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
in
ma'am.
the online thing, we need not only to handle the children, we need to be that bridge between the parents and the children. We need to be available both to the parents and the children.
Correct. Thank you, ma'am. Teachers were actually open for questions. I
Yeah.
have a couple of questions that has been posted. Uh, Ma'am,
If you could
can
read
I?
them out.
Yes, ma'am. I totally understand the point in which you are talking, ma'am. But uh, being also a parent, how can I handle a child with mood swing during the lockdown? I think now this teacher has posted the question in from a parent's point of view.
Yes. Mood swings, because first thing we need to find out why the child is going through a mood swing. Very important to know why, because there is a trigger. Mood swings just don't take place. There is a trigger. Why? And then the only way is to talk to the child, divert the child out of that mood swing. At that moment, there is no point getting the child to do something repetitive. Maybe continuously sitting and doing assignments is making the child having a mood swing. Maybe you have not sat with the child. Maybe the food that you have made is not palatable. Maybe she got up late. The sleep pattern. Maybe that day is just not interested in studying. Okay, so that is the way that we need to know the trigger. And for that, we need to be available and accessible as parents. Very important that we are accessible and available as parents to the child. Let the mood swing be. I'm speaking out of experience, ma'am, because I did not do that with my child. If she had to finish 15 sums a day, irrespective of what, she had to complete that 15 sums, and she would end up doing everything wrong, whatever she knew well also, because her mind was not in it. And I, being an educationist, did not understand, after scolding her and, giving her 2 marks, then I would say, okay, now you close the book. I don't think you're in a mood to do. Why? That is the most horrible thing I could have ever done to my child. I give her 2 slaps, or, pull her down, and, and hurt their sense of self-esteem. And then, then say, okay, looks like you're not in a mood to study today. Close your book, go and play. I could have done it well in advance, well before. The moment I see the child is not in a thing, we know that. We know in our heart the child is not interested. So let it go. Let it go. Students are not comfortable to switch on their video. Shanti ma'am, it is, if you're going to have an interactive class, you must woo them to do it. You must woo them to do it. Otherwise, like the way I'm talking to you all, it's very monotonous. Or if they want to keep their video off, then you should interact with them personally and ask them questions so that they can keep their video off but answer you. That time you will know that, okay, they are paying attention to you. How do we keep the students much more interesting during the offline class? Maria ma'am, offline or online, it is creating a class which is learner-centric, which is what the new education policy is talking about. It has to be learner-centric. It has to be experiential learning, interactive, and activity-based learning. Rote learning is no more the alternative. How can we make the students to interest in learning textual content? Yes, textual context, nobody is saying no. But this textual context comes from where? From a demonstration, from a real life experience, from asking children to relate a real life experience and then connecting it to the text concept. What we do is we take the text concept and then we give a real life example. But it would be that go from a real life example and connect it to the textual concept you're going to teach, not what you've already taught. Or do the demonstration. First do the demonstration of the science experiment. Ask them to observe what happened. Why did it happen? What was the reason? What did not happen? And then go on to the textual concept. So they will be able to understand in their minds and from their visual, which they have seen, and understand the textual concept. Yes, no doubt textual concepts are very much important. How can we judge them if they're interested in the class or not? Is giving seminars a better option to them? No, seminars, yes, I told you, peer learning, sharing what they have understood. We teach them, and then sharing what they have conceptualized of a lesson taught. Yes, give them a project, give them projects to do, and then the conclusions can be discussed in class.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. There is another question that says, how
Yeah.
can I handle
Let me
students who have...
answer Maria ma'am once more.
Oh,
Can we
okay,
judge the
okay.
students based on their performance in sending their homework alone? Maria ma'am, definitely not. Definitely not. You think their homework alone is not the way? No. That is why I say make your classes interactive. Make your classes, where children take charge of the class. British Council is very particular. In a class of 30 minutes, they always want to know TTT, STT. TTT, the ratio or the proportion of TTT and STT. TTT is teacher talk time and STT is student talk time. So they always want the student talk time is more in discussions, in expression, to be more than teacher talk time, or at least it should be equal, where they can express, where they can question, they can ask, they can apply. You've taught something. Now use this and apply it to a real life experience which you have gone through. Share it in the class. Or some real life experience which is completely opposite to what is being taught. That is also fantastic, actually. They don't have to give an example of the concept that was taught. It can be a completely diagonally opposite experience. That also will come out very beautifully. So they will understand. And when children start sharing, believe me, our lessons will be very boring. Whereas what children share with each other, that will be the greatest understanding. Children can teach each other better than teacher can teach students.
Like, ma'am, this is somewhat in similar with the question that you answered to Maria, ma'am.
Now,
But the question says, how can I handle students who are hyperactive? I find this online platform as a mode of stress buster for the student. I understand that, but uh, like, so basic question is like, how can I handle this hyperactive students? They want to express themselves more,
yeah,
but how
we
can
need
I
to be,
balance?
understand, we need to be firm, we need to be gentle with them and tell them they need to give time to others to speak. And after that, you can have a one-on-one session. Let us say it is um, like, let's say I have a student, Rahul, who is very hyperactive, or I have Rahul and Ramesh who are hyperactive. So I said, Ramesh and Rahul, you're at your time. And I really appreciate that you're both have really gone through your lesson, you're thoroughly informed, but don't you think we need to give importance to others too? They also have points. And then when the class, okay, Rahul and Ramesh, I'd like you to stay back because I'd like to talk to you both. When others may leave the meeting, I'd like to talk to Rahul and Ramesh today. And then explain it to them. If you don't, they shouldn't be taught. I mean, if you don't want, generally, they shouldn't be belittled in class. But I always say, okay, darling, I've given you a chance. Now let her answer. See, she's been very quiet. We have to involve her. No, let's do that. But then later, I said, stay back. I'd like to have a chat with you. And then I tell them, you know,
That way, we also keep them, uh, like, give them the due attention that
yeah.
they...
And then, okay, Rahul, just keep a tab. Okay, instead of you answering, why don't you keep a tab on who all have answered today and let me know? So that, no, next time we don't repeat them, so that others will get a chance. Will you help me do that? That ways.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been so patient in answering all our questions.
Of course
Uh,
not.
Ma'am, I should say that is what it is. You're being very polite and humble to like say that it's not, but it is from where I stand. So I take this time to, on behalf of all the teachers and educationalists who have joined with us in the webinar, I take this time to thank Tilaka Benjamin, ma'am, for that wonderful talk and the time that she took to answer all our questions. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. And I just want to encourage all the participants. You're all doing a fantastic job. You are also frontline warriors. We are frontline warriors too. We haven't let education go down the drain because of the pandemic. We are holding the flag of education high. So let's all aim for a higher, brighter, and a stronger future for ourselves and our children.
Yes,
I'd
we
like
will.
to bless each and every one of you. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for those warm words. Teachers, we are moving on to the next part, which is the feedback session. There is a link on your chat box if you have joined with us in Zoom. And if you have joined with us with YouTube, there is the link. You will find this link in your description box in YouTube if it is YouTube that you've joined us with. Okay, so you can take this 2-3 minutes time to fill in this feedback form. So now only upon filling the feedback form, you'll be receiving your certificate for being a part of this webinar. So only upon filling this form, I must insist. Okay. All right. So as you keep filling, I should also inform you that we have the next. So we are done with the question and answer. So we are in the feedback. And so as you fill in the form, we have a next session that is on 17th of December. So we will be posting the topic and at what time we start the program. Through your school, you will be let know, and also through our executive. So kindly take this 2 or 3 minutes to fill in the form. And also you will find this, yeah, the YouTube channel, right? I told you about the YouTube channel earlier. So if you visit our channel, you can subscribe. That's one option through which you can get to know about the future webinars. So the other option is you can also view the previous webinars that we have conducted, dealing with the global experiment, the main topic that we're talking on. You can view the previous webinar talks and also this particular one where ma'am has been a guest and honored us. You can subscribe. By subscribing, you'll get further notification. You will also receive mails and messages through WhatsApp for the next webinar updates. So kindly take the time to fill in the feedback form.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. As I told you, the next webinar will be on 17th. The topic and the related link or details will be mailed or will be sent to you through WhatsApp. You can get in touch with us. So the numbers that were displayed earlier, you can save those two numbers for you all to uh, get the link enabled in the WhatsApp. Okay. So until I meet you on 17th, I take leave from you, but the link will be still on, the meeting will be still on. So you can find the links in your chat box, and in YouTube you can find the links in the description box to fill in the feedback. You can take your time. The next 5 minutes, the meeting, 5 or 10 minutes, the meeting will be on. You can take the time to fill in your feedback. So, but until I see you on 17th of December, this is Sharon, and I will take leave for now.